Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Friday, the 8th of November 2024, the year of 1 million transactions per second or more. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin right. Let's see what we've got in store for us today. We've got this epic tweet, this epic video that's been doing the rounds on social media at the moment with Trump saying he's going to dismantle the deep state. If that's true, that is absolutely massive. I've got a little quote here from John McAfee, which will go over how income tax is unlawful. Again, just Craig absolutely on fire at the moment with all of his tweets. The amount of work and effort that's going into it. And the man's a machine. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Kurt going on about Teranode. We've got some articles here from Cointelegraph, BSV blockchain, and we're just going to go over, see which other news outlets are literally copy and pasting the same news article about Teranode and getting all the information wrong. It's in both of them here, look. And these are meant to be like crypto magazines. I mean, what a joke. Then we've got a little bit of 365 days of Bitcoin history, and that'll be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the Teranode, you'll surely see.
Here we go. Right, just make sure the volume's up on this one. So this is a post from, so Andrew Bridgen has initially posted this, where he has said...
Here's my plan to dismantle...
There we go. He said, Trump with a simple plan to dismantle the deep state. I mean, that's no plain sailing. The deep state is endemic, and reform the U.S. government to rein in the corruption of the last 4 years. We have all bureaucratic and regulatory problems he talks about here in the UK. See Jonathan Van Tam's consultancy with Moderna after shilling vaccines. What we don't have is a Trump. Kemi Baynock is not it. Nigel Farage is not it. We need to find him or her and fast. Well, let's have a listen to what Trump says here. Here we go.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. Doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
That is epic. Well, if he is going to do all of that, guess what? He is going to need Bitcoin. It is Bitcoin that is going to expose the deep state and all of their corruption. It needs to be on an immutable ledger, so the evidence can't be tampered with and it can't be deleted, where information can't be cracked, hacked, altered or changed. So this is going to be epic on his journey. So I mean, it's a good start, a really good start. But like anything, you know, fixed. If the money is corrupt, everything is corrupt. You fix the money, you fix everything, and it all starts with Bitcoin. So I'm absolutely certain that he will actually come across Bitcoin in his presidency. He will know that the deep state is BTC, BTC Core, and Blockstream. This will all come to light. Oof, it's going to be epic, and our man is going to be the one to help shine the light and guide the way for them. So yeah, that's epic, that one. Let's have a quick listen to John McAfee here, and we'll read some of the case studies to do with taxation here. Here we go.
Income taxes. You realize that until 1913 in America, we had no income taxes. And the government thrived. It was doing just fine. Income taxes are the greatest fraud ever perpetrated on the American public. The Constitution forbids it, and yet we have it as an amendment. So what do income taxes do for the government? It relieves the burden from the government of actually doing any work in terms of collecting revenues. Don't have to be creative, don't have to do anything. And it has 50 million people that do their paperwork every year. Every year. So we do the work, fill out the forms, and give them all of the documentation of our life. And they just collect the money. I'm sorry, I just think that's the coolest joke ever perpetrated on an unsuspecting people. Nobody's so unsuspecting. Thank you for listening.
And this is decided April 8th, 1895. Facts of the case: the Constitution gave the states the power to impose direct taxation. The federal government can impose direct taxes as well, but only if those taxes were apportioned among the states in proportion to their representation in Congress. In this case, the court examined the Income Tax Act of 1894. Question: was the income tax a direct tax in violation of the Constitution? Article 1, Section 9. Conclusion: the court held that the act violated the Constitution, since it imposed taxes on personal income derived from real estate investments and personal property such as stocks and bonds. This was a direct taxation scheme, not apportioned properly among the states. The decision was negated by the adoption of the 16th Amendment in 1913. Again, that's when they created the Federal Reserve. Justices John Marshall Harlan, Howell Edmund Jackson, Edward Douglas White, and Henry Billings Brown dissented from the majority opinion. Justice White argued this court should consider itself compelled to go back to a long repudiated and rejected theory of the Constitution, by which the government is deprived of an inherent attribute of being a necessary power of taxation. Justice Brown wrote, the decision involves nothing less than the surrender of the taxing power to the moneyed classes. So in other words, those who have got the money have now got the power to tax everybody else. It's outrageous. In Pollock versus Farmers Loan and Trust Co. 1895, a badly divided court struck down the 1894 income tax on the ground that it was a direct but not proportioned. Congress had enacted the 1894 tax and reenaction against the consumption taxes that had funded the federal government for most of its history. In Pollock versus Farmers Loan and Trust Company, the Supreme Court held that the income tax was unconstitutional because it was a constitutionally prohibited direct tax. Supporters of the income tax proposed an amendment to the Constitution, and again, it's against the Constitution, it's repugnant, in order to dispense with the question of the constitutionality of the income tax. Conclusion, the court held that the act violated the Constitution since it imposed taxes on personal income derived from real estate investments and personal property such as stocks and bonds. This was a direct taxation scheme, not apportioned properly among the states. The 16th Amendment of the United States Constitution was ratified in February 1913, but it was not signed by a president. So it's not signed. It's not legit. Ratification, and the president wouldn't have signed it because it would have been treason against the people, because it's unconstitutional. Ratification, the 16th Amendment was ratified by 36 states out of 48, which was the required number to become part of the Constitution. The amendment was ratified after President Woodrow Wilson was elected, but before he took office. Proclaimed, Secretary of State Philander C. Knox proclaimed the ratification of the 16th Amendment. Congress enacted the Revenue Act of 1913, which outlined the income tax provision of the 16th Amendment. The 16th Amendment allows Congress to levy an income tax without apportioning it to among the states based on population. It was a response to the 1895 Supreme Court case on Pollock versus Farmers Loan and Trust Co. Look at that, income tax, unconstitutional. And it's basically giving the power of the already elite moneyed classes the power to impose taxes on others. Absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. But we know that Bitcoin is literally going to uncover the fraud, because everything started out as fair. All the laws were written to make sure that everybody was equal, that nobody was above the law, and that nobody was penalized, so that everybody could live in peace. And this is classic divide and conquer. Literally infiltration, at the very, very starting, and it all starts with economics. And all legal and political influence all stem from economic power. That's what's happened here. This is CSW dealing with trolls online or whatever they go. So this guy Chris BTC says the guy who couldn't explain what an unsigned integer is. CSW has responded saying, "It's hilarious really watching these guys squirm, utterly scared and terrified. They puff their chests, throw around big words like they're in control. But the fear seeps through every crack. You can see it, their whole world teetering on the edge, and they know it. They're clinging to their illusion, terrified that someone might actually call their bluff. It's the kind of cowardice that that would be sad if it wasn't so damn funny." And again, I mean, this is also leading on to what Craig had posted about yesterday about revealing his identity, because all chains of signatures lead back to the Genesis block. And that's why they don't want Craig to be Satoshi Nakamoto, because he is the living man behind all the chains of signatures. So he can actually say, this is where that transaction went. This went there, this went there, this went there. This is them involved in this criminal transaction. These are the people involved in child trafficking, gun running, drug dealing, whatever you want to call it. Anything that's repugnant to society. Suddenly suddenly there is a starting point that could potentially expose everything, all the wrongdoing. No, I mean, why would anybody want to expose right doing? Oh, somebody did this right, well done. It's only there to expose wrongdoing. And this is what he's saying, and this is why the deep state so badly don't want anybody to know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Because without Satoshi Nakamoto being a living man behind that initial wallet address and starting the chain of signatures, there is no chain of command going up exposing all the wrongdoing that's happening. So yeah, I mean, this is why this is why everybody thinks they've got anonymity at the moment, because all chains lead back to the Genesis block and supposedly no one knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. So that's how they get away with it. But then suddenly, oh, hold on a minute, there's a living man there, and he knows where that transaction went, and that transaction went here, and then there, and then there, and then there, and then up here, and then everything is exposed. That's why they don't want it. But I mean, look at the amount of work CSW is putting in here. I mean, absolutely staggering. Absolutely staggering. I mean, I wish I had time to sort of like go over all this and read through it. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Loving this one. Somebody pointed this out to me. So we'll read this. He says, imagine trying to explain this at a comedy club. So, two transactions walk into a SegWit bar. The bartender says, one of you is going in the witness section. The other, well, we'll see if you're still valid later. Ba-dum-ba. The laughter from the audience would be more nervous than assumed, as the implications dawn. SegWit doesn't just segregate data, it segregates accountability. Yeah, indeed. A system originally built on transparency now whispers, trust us, but only kind of. Yeah. Because there is it's the signature that actually witnesses the transaction. The signature is the witness data, and that's what they've done because it is a digital system. Nobody can see those transactions happening, so it's the digital signature that acts as the witness to prove that the transaction took place on the digital network. It's phenomenal. Can't come soon enough, in my eyes. So Kurt has also said here, he said, so we've been running Teranode for a little over 3 weeks. It's kind of like a hot rod that isn't exactly street legal yet, but still really fun to drive. The beauty of it is that we can see the only things left to do are buttoning up the details. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Look at this. Loving that. Right, let's have a look at this article here in Cointelegraph. So, US lawmaker doubles down on crypto promise after Trump win. Now, what's going on here? Because, I mean, but the thing is, all these people have got hopium over crypto and they haven't realised that the deep state have already corrupted it. Dear, oh dear. With Republicans soon to have a majority in the US Senate, Cynthia Loomis said she plans to have lawmakers pass a bill to build strategic Bitcoin reserves. Oh dear, she's another one that's going to be on the hook for that. Imagine how building up reserves using a Ponzi scheme, a Ponzi mechanism, because that's what the deep state have allowed. In one of her first post-election messages, Wyoming Senator Cynthia Loomis reiterated plans for the United States lawmakers to build a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Can you imagine a strategic Ponzi reserve? That's hilarious. Presumably when Republicans take a majority control of the Senate in 2025. In a November 6 X post, Senator Loomis said she intended to move forward with her plans to establish a BTC reserve, which is a Ponzi reserve. The Wyoming Republican introduced the Bitcoin Act, the Ponzi Act maybe, in July for the US government to buy 1 million BTC, roughly 5% of the total supply, and hold it for at least 20 years. Dear, oh dear. With Republicans expected to have majority in the US Senate after flipping 3 seats on election day, Loomis and her colleagues may have the votes needed to carry out the plan. Her proposed bill built upon an idea pitched by the then presidential candidate Donald Trump, who suggested the US government not sell any of its seized Bitcoin. Loomis has been one of the Congress's most vocal pro-crypto voices since taking office in 2021. She was not up for a re-election on November 5th, but continued to speak in favour of digital asset policies as Republicans, including Trump, campaigned in 2024 with pro-crypto platforms. Crypto-back and pro-crypto candidates win big in US election. Amid major news outlets reporting that Trump and Republicans were projected to win the presidency, majority control of the Senate and potentially the House of Representatives, the price of BTC surged for more than $76,000. Democrats who will remain in control of the Senate until Jan 3rd, with President Joe Biden in office until Inauguration Day on Jan 20th. Though majority control of the House was not certain at the time of publication, some industry leaders are suggesting Democrats' performance could have been the result of the party's position on crypto. Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown, one of the party's anti-crypto voices in Congress, lost his seat to Republican Bernie Moreno. Their biggest mistake was antagonizing the entire crypto community, said Startup Accelerator Y Combinator co-founder Paul Graham in a November 6 X post addressing the election results for Democrats. And this was entirely unnecessary. There was some other constituency they were trying to win points with by doing it. Dear oh dear. Dear oh dear. So now they're blaming their anti-crypto stance, but they're again being pro-crypto. They're gonna see the truth, because if something is useful, it's valuable. If something is useless, it's worthless. They're just like, right, how can we use this? Oh yeah, that's right. Can't use BTC. Can't use any of these shitcoins because they're all centrally controlled by somebody. But a truly commoditized network, which is what Bitcoin is meant to be, that is BSV. They're gonna find it. They're gonna find it. Let's have a look at this. Fixing a $200 million problem with blockchain. Interesting. Overlay services and financial services revolutionizing risk. Let's have a quick look at this one. Revolutionizing risk assessment and data integrity. This is published November 5th. The financial services industry thrives on trust, accurate data, and the ability to assess risk efficiently. As markets become more complex and data volumes surge, traditional systems struggle to keep pace with the demands for transparency and efficiency. Enter overlay services on the BSV blockchain, a transformative approach that promises to revolutionize financial services by enhancing data provenance, enabling precise risk pricing, and fostering greater trust through immutable records. The article explores how overlay services can be leveraged in financial services, including applications in central bank digital currencies, data ontologies, credit ratings, and triple entry accounting. By integrating these advanced capabilities, financial institutions can unlock new levels of efficiency, accuracy, and confidence in their operations. Enhancing data provenance and ontologies. At the heart of financial services lies data, vast amounts of it, originating from diverse sources and varying in quality. The ability to trace the origin, history, and transformations of data provenance, is crucial for building trust and making informed decisions. Data ontologies, which define the relationship and categories within data, further enable organizations to understand and utilize data efficiency. Overlay services provide a powerful framework for managing data provenance and ontologies. Immutable records, semantic definitions and traceability. Impact on risk, we've got providing verifiable data, reducing information asymmetry. That's like comparisons effectively. Enabling a real-time analysis. CBDCs, we've got secure and scalable infrastructure, controlled privacy, programmable money, financial inclusion, improving credit ratings through auditable data, automated data collection, transparent criteria, instant verification, enhanced fairness, triple entry accounting for enhanced trust, benefits of triple entry accounting, immutable verification, automated reconciliation, regulatory compliance, fraud reduction, and efficient capital allocation through enhanced data integrity, accurate asset valuation, risk mitigation, increased liquidity, cost reduction, real-world applications and use cases, supply chain finance, trade finance, insurance, regulatory reporting. Of course, epic. Conclusion, yeah. It's all good. All very good. And let's go back there and have a look at this one here. What's this? Fixing a $200 million problem with blockchain. The music industry has been plagued for decades by issues surrounding the fair payment of artists. whether it is dodgy record labels trying to take advantage of bands, rampant music privacy, or newer streaming platforms that pay musicians a fraction of their value. In the latest case, rock group Limp Bizkit is suing Universal Music Corp over claims it has not been paid, with the band asking for more than $200 million in back payments from the label. The BSV blockchain can help end these issues right now. Artists can regain full ownership and control of the music they create, as well as royalties and copyrights. There's no longer a need for these shady practices in the music business. Just as the music industry adapted to the internet and streaming by harnessing new technology, it can use the BSV blockchain to create clear, unambiguous contracts where royalties are paid out in real time. Yeah, and that's massive. That is massive. Fixing the billion-dollar problem, the traditional music industry often benefits major record labels and streaming platforms, leaving artists with limited control and a smaller portion of their revenue. Several factors contribute to this, such as a lack of transparency in financial reporting, ambiguous contract terms, unequal earning distribution, and limited opportunities for independent audits. Emerging artists in particular face difficulties in gaining recognition and effectively monetizing their work. Music labels and streaming services tend to prioritize top-selling artists who generate the most profit, leaving smaller artists at a disadvantage. Even when lesser-known artists achieve a significant number of plays, they often do not receive a fair share of the revenue. Yeah, because it's all about the distribution outlets. Current solutions have yet to fully address these issues, highlighting the need for a platform that both empowers artists and enhances the overall consumer experience. The BSV blockchain offers an immutable ledger, providing artists with transparent accounting and accurate royalty tracking. Through this system, artists can easily view their earnings and verify the legitimacy of transactions, eliminating the need to depend solely on record labels for financial reporting. With the BSV blockchain, both artists and their collaborators can track and confirm royalty payments, ensuring they receive fair compensation. This enhanced transparency discourages manipulation and fosters greater trust between artists and industry stakeholders. In addition, smart contracts can be integrated into BSV-based platforms, enabling automated, transparent agreements between artists and labels. These contracts support more equitable revenue sharing models by automatically distributing earnings to artists, labels, songwriters, and producers according to preset terms, ensuring a fairer allocation of profits and addressing the issues of unequal earnings. Non-fungible tokens can also be leveraged on the BSV blockchain, representing unique digital assets tied to music or other creative works. Artists can tokenize their creations, selling them directly to fans and retaining greater control over their intellectual property. This approach empowers emerging artists to effectively monetize their work, gain visibility, and build a dedicated fan base without having to rely solely on major labels or streaming platforms. For fans, this creates a more interactive and rewarding experience. NFTs can provide access to exclusive content, limited edition releases, and personalized interactions, deepening the bond between artists and fans. This innovative use of blockchain technology opens up new revenues, streams, and fosters a more engaging, artist-centered music ecosystem. Oh, massive, yeah, real use cases. Firms like Smart Ledger Solutions showcase how this can be done. Its rare generation digital rights management platform uses the power of blockchain to distribute payments transparently. Spotify alone streams over 1 billion tracks daily, so scalability is crucial. Only scalable utility blockchains like the BSV blockchain and Teranode, which can process 1 million transactions per second, are currently up to the task. Of course, artists don't have to wait for record labels to make the first move. They can now use the BSV blockchain to self-publish music and demand that labels use transparent tech before signing with them. While it is true that artists make less money without the backing of big labels, let's remember that those same big labels make no money without artists. Good point there. Epic, we're going for like, sort of 28 minutes, so we'll just wrap it up quickly. This was the article that we read the other day on Teranode, and it's literally been cut and pasted now by Brave New Coin and also Bitcoinist, and they literally cut and pasted it, so they've got the spelling of Teranode wrong and other stuff. I mean, look, Craig writes Teranode ambition, scaling Bitcoin to a global payment solution, and again they're actually switching it to BTC. They're using BTC. Check this out. The Australian entrepreneur and self-proclaimed creator of Bitcoin, Craig Wright, is eyeing a bold new project, a shot at shaping Bitcoin's future. So now they're relating Craig to Bitcoin. Craig Wright has announced plans for Teranode, spelt wrong, a scalable infrastructure he said could take Bitcoin from a speculative asset to a reliable global payment solution. The project, which Wright has been developing over the past 15 years, aims to make Bitcoin accessible for everyday transactions by removing limitations affecting its scalability and affordability. Wright, a pursuer of projects related to Bitcoin, took to social media to describe his vision for Teranode, spelt wrong, a system that would feature unbounded transaction capacity. He explained that Teranode, again spelt wrong, could handle surges in transaction volumes without slowing down or increasing fees, positioning it as a robust platform ready to support Bitcoin's potential as a global financial tool. According to Wright, Teranode, spelled wrong, would allow Bitcoin to serve as a more than just a store of value or speculative investment. Instead, he envisions it as a practical universal currency that people worldwide can use without high transaction fees or delays that plague other blockchain systems. He emphasized that the Teranode development would not rely on demand growth to prompt upgrades. Rather, it would be preemptively designed to accommodate large-scale adoption. There was something else I read about it being BTC or referring to BTC. If it's not this one, it was the next one. With Teranode, Wright noted, we're building a system that can scale infinitely where capacity won't be a constraint. He underscored the platform's focus on accessibility and affordability, describing it as a solution for users who are often priced out during high demand periods on other networks. Economic inclusivity and Bitcoin's potential beyond scalability, Wright is pushing Teranode as a means to drive economic inclusivity worldwide. He hopes that by eliminating hurdles such as high transaction costs and onerous legal constraints, Teranode would encourage more widespread usage of Bitcoin as a payment method, particularly in areas where traditional banking is still unavailable. This would allow people in any country to start using Bitcoin as a practical means of trade, he stated, not as an asset to hoard, but as a tool to connect them to the global economy. No borders, no barriers, no prohibitive fees. Wright's vision aligns with a broader trend towards decentralized finance as global economic shifts have driven interest in an alternative financial system that operate independently of traditional institutions. Wright argues that Teranode can empower individuals to participate in the global economy without relying on any centralized authority, creating an environment in which people could control their finances independently. However, the project's potential to democratize money coincides with Wright's own legal troubles. He's entangled in a series of lawsuits over his claims to be the developer of Bitcoin. Earlier this year, a UK court determined that there was insufficient evidence to support his claim to be the author of the original Bitcoin white paper. The presiding judge highlighted issues with Wright's documentation and dismissed much of his evidence as unreliable. Wright recently filed a £911 billion lawsuit against Bitcoin Core and Square, asserting that the BTC token represents the true version of the digital currency originally envisioned by Satoshi Nakamoto. This ongoing legal battle adds a complex layer to Wright's public statements, as his legitimacy in crypto spaces remains questioned. Wright's next legal proceeding, set for December the 18th, involves contempt charges that could impact his ability to continue promoting Teranode. Not really. Wright, citing his autism spectrum disorder, has requested to attend the hearing remotely from Singapore, where he plans to spend the holidays with family. The outcome of this case may influence the trajectory of Teranode, as Wright's reputation in the crypto community has a bearing on the project's credibility. Does it really, though? So they're also reporting it here. Bitcoin 2.0, not Wright. That's not exactly correct. And it says, Craig Wright's Teranode pitches a global payment for BTC. What? Global payment for BTC? I mean, what? Is this a joke? In Bitcoinist, they're saying it's like for BTC. Again, I mean, we're seeing, I mean, is it a coincidence that all this is coming out after Trump's been elected? You know, and suddenly all these articles are coming out, you know, conflating Bitcoin with BTC and BSV and all this kind of stuff. So an Australian entrepreneur could become a key contributor to the future of Bitcoin by transforming the coin into a tool that will push for economic inclusivity around the world. Craig Wright is looking to build a global payment system on the back of the cryptocurrency, turning BTC into a medium for international transactions. Turning BTC! Like what? BTC, SegWit, will never ever be a medium for transactions because the chain of signatures is broken. End of. The chain is worthless. Good grief. Harnessing Bitcoin, Wright, who is also a computer scientist, aims to create a technology that would enable him to scale up Bitcoin with the help of Teranode. If successful, Teranode would allow BTC to be used in daily transactions, increasing the coin's appeal to investors and consumers. Well, they've got that right, but they're putting BTC there. So what, people are just going to hold their BTC thinking, oh yeah, scaling for BTC is coming? No, afraid not. It's BSV. BSV is what BTC was prior to the 1st of August 2017. BTC is now the fraudulent chain. I mean, what on earth is going on here? According to Wright, he envisioned Teranode, again spelt wrong, as a system that would make global borderless payment possible, which is run with help of Bitcoin. The Aussie entrepreneur revealed that the first phase of the system developing is ongoing, saying the first phase of the vision is already in motion. He added that after spending years developing it, he can now bring BTC to what he says is a level where it will never hit a limit. What's he talking about, BTC? The businessman said the move is essential because it does not want to wait until demand for BTC would force him to expand it. It's about preemptively building an infrastructure that can handle anything no matter how much demand grows. 15 years in the making. All right, let's just finish this then. Wright said that it took him 15 years to make this system work. Again, so 15 years. Well, is that not the time frame that Satoshi Nakamoto had? So does that not make him Satoshi Nakamoto? Since it started in 2009 and we're now 2024. And now it is starting to become a reality, claiming that the next decade of Bitcoin is about to unravel. We're building a financial ecosystem that anyone anywhere can plug into. With Teranode, Wright believed that he had created a system that could scale BTC infinitely with no constraints in its capacity, adding that the system not only meets the current needs, but it outpaces those needs in a magnitude not seen before. He said that Teranode would embrace growth that is accessible, affordable, and ready. According to him, every individual around the world can use Bitcoin to trade and serve as a tool that would allow them to connect to the global market rather than an asset to hoard. Facing legal charges. At the moment, Wright has been faced with legal issues for accusations of forgery and perjury, which originated after the claim that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. Nakamoto was a mysterious individual, not really, that's Craig, who is believed as the creator of Bitcoin. However, a court ruled that all the documents being used by Wright to prove that he is the BTC creator are fake. The court had set a contempt hearing for the businessman on December the 18th. So look, I mean, they're now saying that he's scaling BTC. I mean, what? Absolutely hilarious. Good grief. Anyway, let's have a look at a little bit of Bitcoin history. We're now November the 8th. On this day in 2021, BTC hit record all-time highs at $67,000. Crikey, I think it's now at 76. Look at that. So it's above that now, but we know it's the fake one. November the 8th, 2022, FTX collapsed, triggering the biggest one-day wealth collapse on record. Good grief. Let's have a look at this then. Look at that. What? Don't know. Oh. Into your email. Oh, well, never mind. Making it the biggest wealth collapse on record. They lost billions. Triggering their biggest one-day wealth collapse on record. And then tomorrow was this amazing statement here from Satoshi Nakamoto saying it is strictly necessary that the longest chain is always considered the valid one. And that was November 9th, 2008. All right then, let's have a quick look at the figures while we're here. Saves me doing a chart show later on. Let's have a quick look at the miners on Bitcoin. Kuv 38, Talon 33. Wow. And let's have a look at Bitcoin versus BTC. Let's have a look. Oh, so went down and went up again, then it's down again, just plodding along nicely. Interesting, right? Let's have a quick look at CoinDance. $52 on CoinDance, BTC being 76,000. Let's have a look at some of the blocks coming through. 5 megabytes there, nothing to write home about though. Mining Bitcoin at a 27% comparable loss, although it's 71,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Gregcoin. Alright. Okay, there we're done. So that is a 39-minute show. Hope you enjoyed it. So as ever, if you enjoyed these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Sentby.com, Handcash.io, Simply.cash, Relasia.com, RockWallet.me or Senti.ch. We'll leave you there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.